Good afternoon. Water 2. Hi again. Good afternoon. This is Bill Serio. I'll take my glasses and hat off so you can see who I am. I am directly into the sun though. But last week we talked about the water and coming off the mountains and stuff. And I'm going to flip this thing around. And you can see back in those are the deep Sierra Nevadas mountain range there, and there's a little bit of white. Yeah, you probably can't see it in this, but anyway, we did get a little bit of snow last week, but you know, the mountains were just black, and everybody kind of figured there's going to be something going on. But there was a little bit of snow, so yesterday morning those were all pretty white, looking nice, but as you can see, it was all gone. It's probably only a couple inches, no big deal. Whether it'll amount to putting anything in this canal, it is doubtful. But I did have a question of all the two guys that have seen these videos. I don't know where they're from or anything, but anyway, the question was, do we drip irrigate? What kind of irrigation system are we using around here? Okay, so as you can see right here, these are navel oranges, table oranges, not juice oranges, but they're navel. And that is a filter system. So you see the black lines there. I don't know if you can see this or not, but we'll figure it out. If not, well, next time we will. But anyway, that's a filter system. There's some standpipes. Those aren't being used anymore. But anyway, there's a pump out there someplace. There's actually, this guy has two. I've got one over there. But the pump is pumping to this filter. It's just takes the big heavy stuff off, because all these emitters are really thin. I mean, they're like they're smaller than they're maybe a needle, you know, smaller than a needle. So it doesn't take much to plug them up. So anyway, it gets filtered, and then it goes into these black lines. And underneath these black lines are little emitters, and they're little sprinklers, and they're different shapes and sizes and gallons per hour and all that. And that goes, they're typically underneath a tree or around a tree. Depends on the grower. Mine are under the tree, and some guys put them between the trees. You can kind of see where they've been irrigating there. But anyway, but to answer your question is, in the San Joaquin Valley today, most everything has some kind of a drip tube emitter type irrigation. Cotton, if you get on the west side of the San Joaquin Valley, where you've got your cotton and onions and garlic and more row crop type stuff, it's still a traditional, you know, furrow it out, put some ditches in it, and put the water. But around here, where it's 90% trees, as you can see, this is the heart of the citrus belt, California. It's all emitter style. And maybe to help you with your next question, why emitter style? It costs a lot of money to put all this stuff out there, but it does save water. But they used to run rows through here, and there's a lot of there's a lot of opinion on whether it's better irrigation system or not. There's obviously, you don't have any groundwater recharge anymore, which is why most water districts have to have groundwater recharge, because these oranges aren't doing anything. They're just, the emitters put out enough water for the tree, and by the time it gets down, it's probably only about maybe 4 feet moisture down. So you never get any of that good moisture going back down into the groundwater. But, so is it better or not? You know, I know the school's out on it, but it does do a couple of things that people don't think about. Weed control. Because if the water's more specific to an area, it's more specific for the weeds to grow, because weeds obviously have to have water too. So when they used to flood all these oranges out, then they'd have to come back and they'd have to till it down, or they'd have to do something. It's a whole lot of chemicals to put down, and we all know we're trying to get away from those, not only because they're expensive, because they're not really healthy anymore and people don't really like it. But you never really taste it, you never really notice it. But anyway, that's the deal. The emitters help with the weed control. They help with all of that. It's a little more efficient. Yeah, they're using less water, The water can be directed more specifically to a pattern and towards a tree. And they can also time the water. And the neat thing about timing the water is that they can, if they've got emitters that are, say, 2 gallons per minute, 24 hours, they have so many gallons, turn the pump on for that many hours, bam, their trees are irrigated. And another thing is, too, besides weed control, it's frost protection. Because as you know, it freezes here, and oranges do like a little bit of frost. They don't like cold to where they're freezing, but they do like some frost and they like some coldness to get that sugar and to get that color. That's where that color comes from. I'm not a citrus guy, but I'm just a gentleman's citrus guy. So when it's thinking about freezing, you turn all your irrigation system on. And when the water's moving, the area around where the water's spraying is warmer. Not only because the water comes out of the ground warmer, but also because it's moving water. You know, moving water has a real hard, it's got to be pretty darn cold for moving water to freeze. You know, you see these rivers and stuff freezing over in Alaska and all that, but I mean, it gets pretty cold there. It doesn't get anything like that here. But anyway, that's just it. So these guys, the farmers, can come out in the wintertime instead of burning smudge pots like they used to. And it was very impractical to just flood everything, because if you flood everything, then it's muddy and icy. And you imagine that in the winter when it's, 30 degrees and it's dark and foggy and nasty and everything's all mudded out and screwed up. So that's a bad deal. So the emitters are great because they just come out, turn the well on, make sure everything's working. Bam, they've got some frost protection. They're usually good till, it usually gets them another 4 or 5 degrees. So if it's just on the cusp of being a problem, they can turn those water on and it helps their problem. But basically they do use less water, but it's a lot about the weed control. It's more money because they have to have all these emitters. You've got a filter system, and you've got to have somebody. See, there's a guy running through this when they're irrigating, there's a guy going through every day. Because coyotes or squirrels or whatever eat these black hoses to get a drink of water, and it blows everything up and nothing works. And so there's got to be one guy. All these oranges out here, when these guys are irrigating, there is somebody going through these oranges every day. Very, very, very much manpower. Then when it comes time to pick, obviously it takes more. There's usually crews of maybe 70, 80 people with a couple of tractors and hundreds of bins to get them out of here. But anyway, that's a little bit more about water today. We did get a little bit of snow, so that's going to help something. I don't know what it's going to help, but I don't think down here in the mid to southern part of the San Joaquin Valley it's going to do us much good. But anyway, till I talk to you guys later. Bye.